Good afternoon. My name is Jim Conlan and welcome to the latest episode of our entertainment show. As you know, each week on part 3 of the show, we premiere a new TV series or movie that's debuting in Ireland and the UK, and especially with Irish interests. And up for discussion this week is a sort of a sci-fi vampire comedy series with a sort of a twist in terms of the sort of perceived notions of society classes in terms of vampires, and the so-called main character called Reginald is deemed not to be worthy of sort of vampire status. It's a comedy series. It's called Reginald the Vampire, and I'm delighted to be joined by one of the stars of the show. Her name is Thailey Roberge. She plays one of the lead characters in Reginald the Vampire. And Thailey, first of all, how excited are you for Reginald the Vampire, not only debuting in United States and Canada in the past few months or so, but now reaching over here in Ireland and the UK?
I'm so excited. Like when I started the show, I thought it was just going to be like a little tiny show, and it's so cool that people around the world get to see it. And I think it's such a great story that everyone should see. And so I'm so lucky that not only people in the North America can see it, but people around the world, and it's great.
And Thailey, tell me, how did the opportunity about come for you to get cast in Reginald the Vampire?
Well, basically, it was just a pretty normal audition, and it was kind of in like COVID time, so I had to like film it like a self-tape. So basically, my agent sent me the audition, and I had to film a couple of scenes, and then I had to do a Zoom call back with when I got to meet Harley, the creator, and Jeremiah, one of the director and producers. And literally 40 minutes after I did the audition, I remember I went to go have lunch with my mom, and my agent called me and said I booked the job, and it all happened so fast, and it's so surreal, and I'm just so happy that I got to be a part of the project.
And Thailey, tell me about your character. What sort of role does she play in Reginald the Vampire?
Well, basically, Claire is just this 12-year-old girl, and she is a regular customer at the Slushy Shack where Reginald works. And, you know, she's a bit of a loner, and she's grown up like a latchkey kid. So her mom is working all the time, and her dad isn't really in the picture. And so it was just basically she latched on to Reginald because he's kind of like a big brother towards her. And I really love how Jacob and I could play that big brother and sister relationship both on and off screen. And yeah, it was really fun for it to play.
And Thailey, for people out there who mightn't have seen Reginald the Vampire or seen the promos or trailers, can you in your own words describe what the show is about?
Basically, Reginald the Vampire is about this average guy and it's his story about how he gets turned into a vampire and how he has to try and be this vampire in a world full of stereotypically beautiful vampires. And I like to think of it as like the story of just him trying to live his life, as well as also becoming a vampire on top of it. And I think it's such a great story that we've not like brought from the books by Johnny B. Truant, the Fat Vampire books. And I think we've kind of done our own spin to it, as well as keeping real like the same with the books. And so I think people everywhere is just going to love it, because I don't think it's something that people have ever seen on TV before.
And Thailey, tell me about the production from the time you walked on set. Was it a 6 to 7 day shoot, or in terms of turnaround, in terms of shooting episodes? And did you do an awful lot of block shooting? And were you sort of busy on set? And how did you work that in with your sort of school studies?
I mean, it was such a really nice set. Everyone was so kind, and I think it was kind of different for everybody. For me personally, I was only there it was kind of different for some days. Some days I was only there for a couple of hours when everyone had to be there for like 10 hours a day or like 12 hours a day. So I got really lucky with that. And I had to do some schooling, and because of COVID, it was kind of different where I had a teacher on Zoom, like what we're doing now, and for only like 3 hours a day. And it was just so much fun just for this project to be kind of my first big show I've ever really done. It was so cool how everyone was just like so kind, and even with all the stress of COVID, everyone was just so like loving, and we were all just like one big family. And I'm so happy I got to do it.
And I do believe was it an island, a Victoria Island, that was sort of shot off in terms of the sort of series as well. So did you have to make your way from your home base, or were you sort of near enough to the sort of shoot and location, or did you were sort of driven home at certain days? Did you sort of stay over with your family or parents?
Yeah, so basically, because I live in Vancouver, it was just one ferry ride to get to Vancouver Island. And because I was only filming for like a couple days out of the week, my mom and I would go and take a ferry, and we would stay in the hotel and only film for about maybe 2 days, and then travel back home. And it was really fun because we had a lot of time to go and explore the island, because I never usually over there. And because we were over there so much, it got to the point where my mom and I would rate malls, because there wasn't a lot to do. So we would rate the best malls, and there was only like a couple. So it got pretty boring, but it was a lot of fun being over there.
And Thailey, obviously, this has opened your eyes in terms of the industry, as you mentioned, in terms of the first big break. And I know Vancouver is the home of sci-fi, and it's opening up to all different types of series and genres. Since you've been in Reginald the Vampire, has it led to sort of future auditions for you? And is it a sort of a busy sort of time, or are you just concentrate on your studies before you take on your next sort of big project?
Yeah, well, I've been doing a couple of projects here and there, and I think my big focus right now is musical theater, and I really love doing musicals as well as acting on screen. And I just filmed a project last summer, which was really fun, and now I'm doing some musicals here in Vancouver, and while also keeping up with graduating high school and looking at future post-education. And I think that, I really want to do this when I'm older, and just training when I can, and, here are their auditions. But it's been really fun, and Reginald the Vampire taught me a lot, and especially as my other castmates, they are all like such pros, and so it was such a cool experience getting to learn from everybody, especially Jacob. He was such a good lead, and he not only made everyone feel welcome, but he also like taught me so much.
And Thailey, before I let you go now, you might enlighten all our viewers and listeners why they should tune in to Reginald the Vampire, and what's in store for them.
Well, I think Reginald the Vampire, everyone's going to want to see it because it's basically this whole package. It's got drama, romance, and comedy, and it's such a fun, quirky show that I think people are going to really latch on to, especially the characters, because they're all so lovable. And like I said before, it's something that people have never really seen before on TV. And I think we're going to get compared to a lot of vampire shows, but this one is completely different. And I think so many people are going to love it around the world.
And Thailey Roberge, for me, Jim Conlan, an absolute pleasure speaking to one of the young, talented actresses coming out of Vancouver. No doubt many more projects in the pipeline. It's great to see your opening chapter with Reginald the Vampire has gone international as such, and hopefully more projects for you to come in the near future. But for the moment, Thailey Roberge, stay safe, take care, and God bless.
Thank you so much.